If you're hungry for simple and delicious fall dessert, this is it. This apple coffee cake has soft and tender crumbs, and it's not overly sweet, which makes it perfect to serve it with caramel sauce. Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Shanae, and today we're going to make this easy apple coffee cake, one of my favorite fall desserts. And this video is sponsored by Bob's Red Mill. I've been their fan for many years, and I'm so thrilled to partner with them again this holiday season. I love Bob's Red Mill for their quality products, minimally processed grains. I love their almond flour, as I shared in my previous video, for macarons, and I love their all-purpose flours as well. And another, our pantry staple is this old-fashioned rolled oats, one of my kids' favorite breakfast, to be honest, and I also love baking with it. And for this recipe, we will need old-fashioned rolled oats, all-purpose flour, and we need eggs, brown sugar, butter, baking powder, baking soda, and salt, sugar, applesauce, unsweetened applesauce, a couple of apples, and vanilla extract. And we'll start with making our crumb topping, so let's get to it. So to make the crumb topping, we need about 1/3 cup of rolled oats and about 1/4 cup of flour. When you're measuring flour, always make sure to spoon and level. Otherwise, you can easily pack too much flour and your baked goods won't turn out as perfect. And then you level it. I usually bake with scale because it's so much more accurate and easy to do. And a little bit flour goes in here, and brown sugar and salt. I already have my salt in here, and we'll mix it. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll add our softened butter. This is a messy step, but we're going to just dive in with our hands and mix them together to create our crumbs. Make sure all the dry ingredients are incorporated. Okay, this is perfect. And next step, we'll set it aside and then we'll start chopping up some apples. Simply core it, and I like to peel the apples so that they don't get rubbery in the oven. And I like to slice into thinner wedges. And you actually don't have to use sliced apple. You can chop them up and incorporate cubed apple slices into your batter and bake it that way. If you slice into wedges like this and then arrange it on top, it just looks prettier. So if you are serving it to a company, you might as well take a little extra step. You may not need whole 2 apples, but I'm gonna slice them all. I like to use the combination of apples. You don't have to, again. I like to have a little bit tart Granny Smith apples with Honeycrisp apple, but any baking apples are great too. Okay, my apples are ready, and now we're gonna make the batter, which will take literally less than 5 minutes. Let's get to it. So now we're going to whip butter, make sure it's nice and softened, and sugar, and we're going to beat it on medium speed for about 2 minutes. You want the mixture to be nice and creamy and fluffy. It makes a huge difference. If you don't mix it well, your cake will be kind of denser. It's just not good. You want fluffy, tender crumbs, and in order to get that, you want to whip your butter and sugar really nice so that it's nice and fluffy. At least usually takes about 2 minutes. In my stand mixer. With hand mixer, probably will take about 3-4 minutes. And I'll show you when it's ready. And meanwhile, I'm going to whisk the dry ingredients in a separate bowl so that all the baking powder and baking soda is incorporated evenly. My butter and sugar creamed really nicely. It's nice, pale, fluffy texture. I also scraped the sides of the bowl halfway, and now I'm going to start adding eggs one at a time. Adding eggs one at a time just ensures it incorporates evenly. If you dump all the eggs at once, it will be harder to incorporate into the butter mixture. So one at a time. Make sure your eggs at the room temperature as well so that they incorporate easier. Otherwise, your butter will stiffen up if you add cold eggs. And scrape the sides and mix a minute or so. Okay, looking good. Now I'm going to add half of my flour mixture and mix it just enough to incorporate all the dry ingredients. It will take a couple of seconds. We don't want to over mix the batter, otherwise too much gluten will develop and your cake will get hard and dense. Now we're going to add our applesauce, and I'm using unsweetened applesauce. I have a recipe for unsweetened applesauce on my website. I will link it in the description below. You can also use store-bought applesauce, which is just fine. Choose the unsweetened ones. A little bit vanilla and mix it. Looking good, and then we'll add the rest of the flour mixture. And again, mix it just until the flour mixture is incorporated. Okay, looking good. A little bit dry flour mixture on the sides, which is fine, and I'll finish it up with my spatula. I'm using 9-inch springform pan. You can use regular pan, but it's really hard to cut and dig out the cake because we're going to have a crumb topping and whatnot, and springform pan works the best. And I spread a little bit non-stick cooking spray, add all my batter in, smooth out the top, and now we're going to arrange all our apple slices. It's not going to be visible, but creates nice texture. You will be able to see. I tested this recipe with Bob's Red Mill gluten-free flour, and it works out perfectly as well. This looks perfect, and I'm going to top with our crumb topping. You can have nice chunks like this. They become really nice and crispy. All right, it's ready to go into the oven. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees, and I'm going to bake it for about 50-55 minutes, and I'll see you once it's out and cooled. So my coffee cake is cooked and completely cooled, and while it was cooling, I also made my salted caramel sauce, and I already have a video on it. I'll link it up right here, and let's check out the cake. And by the way, I said I don't like apples with the peels, and I completely forgot to peel my apples, which is all right. They'll be just fine, a little bit chewy, no big deal. I like to cut the cake into slices and then drizzle caramel sauce on top. The crumb topping is so nice and crispy. Oh my goodness. Drizzle some caramel sauce. Let's give it a taste test. Smells so good. Actually, I want a little more caramel sauce on top. The cake itself is not overly sweet, so a little bit extra caramel sauce is not gonna make it extra sweet or anything, so it's going to be perfect. Actually, apple peel is just fine. You don't even notice anything. So you don't have to go through extra step of peeling them. The crumbs are so tender, moist, and just so flavorful. I hope you will give this a try. And if you make this cake, of course, drop me a comment below and let me know, or share a picture on Instagram and tag me at Shaneshka. And I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!